So now when we have animated the engine and the cameras, and we also made it possible to switch cameras here in the viewport, we're going to make a short video of these animations at 600 frames. So we come over here to the properties panel, click the render properties. We will render in Eevee. Of course you could also use cycles, but it is a lot faster in Eevee. And then we come over here to output properties. We will choose 30 frames per second. That means that we will have a video of 20 seconds because we have 600 frames. Then if we go further down, we have the output folder. We will change that output folder. So we click this button, and I will go to the folder where I have my files, and you can do the same if you want to. And here I will add a folder. So I can right click and choose new folder, or I can click this button, create new directory. And I will call that folder render output. Like so, hit enter. Then I double click the folder to open it, and then I accept the folder. So now I have the path to that folder where I can store the images and the video file. Then if we come here to file format, we can choose PNG or JPEG if you want to. Of course you could also render the whole sequence directly to a video, MPEG video file. But the benefit of using an image for each frame is that if you have to stop the rendering or your computer shuts down, you can continue render where it stopped, at the frame where you stopped rendering, or at the frame where the computer shuts down. But if you render to an MPEG video directly, you have to start from the beginning. So that's why it's good to use these options instead. Render an image for each frame. PNG will give you a better quality image because JPEG is more compressed image, but I will choose JPEG in this case. And then the other settings down here, we will have it as it is. The default settings, it's okay. So, but before we render, we have to check the lighting. If I now come up here to preview the material, it will look like this. And it looks pretty good. And if we come over here to the viewport, you don't see these buttons here, but if you hover the cursor over these buttons and roll the wheel backward, you will see the buttons here. So if you click the material preview, it will look like this. But if you click the render preview, it's rather dark. So we have to add some lights in the scene. You could do that by pressing Shift A and add light. But in this case we will use an image, an HDR image. And to do that we come over here to World Properties. And we click this button, the yellow button here, color. And here we can choose environment texture. And we see here that this scene turns into purple. It is the same here if we select the render preview. The scene will turn into purple because there is no image that will light the scene. So we click open. And here I have an image, Solitude 2K. You find that image in the description where you can download the scene and also this image. Or you can download this image if you go to hdrihaven.com. You find Solitude and you can choose 2K because you don't have to use any larger image to light the scene. So I select the Solitude, click open image, and now we see the background. So it will look like this, but we will not have the image visible when we render. So to change that, we come over here to render options or properties, go down here to film menu, expand that menu, and then here we can check this box, transparent, and the image will be invisible, but it will still light the scene. And if we go further down to color management, expand that menu, it should be filmic at view transform. And look, we can change that to medium high contrast. It will look a little bit better with the light and the shadows. So now if we move, or if I move the time slider to this position, then I press F12 on the keyboard to render. You can also come up here to render and render image to see how it will look like when it is rendered. So I think the light is pretty good in this case, like so. And then we are going to render all the frames now. And let's see now, I go back here. 1 to 600. We have JPEG in my case. You can also choose PNG if you want to. And we come over here to render. To render all images, you have to choose Render Animation, Control F12. So I click here, and all the images will be rendered now. So now it is finished. So I will close this render window. So now we have all the 600 frames stored in this folder. So now we are going to make a video of these frames. So we come over here to compositing. Then we will select another viewport. We go to video sequencer. Make sure that the timeline is set to the beginning, to the first frame. It starts at the first frame, because when we add the frames now, or the images will be placed where the timeline is, or the time slider is. So then we come up here to add image sequence, and we will find here in the render output folder. Double click to open it. We see that we have the frame 1 here. Then we can use this slider to go to the bottom, and then shift select the frame 600. Then we click add image strip, and we have the whole image strip here. So now to view the images when they are put together, we come up here to render, then we can view animation. Click here, and it will the Blender will now calculate all the images very quickly, and then it will start the video. So it starts from the beginning again, like so. So now when we have the images here as a sequence, so now it's time to make a video or render an MPEG video file of these images. To do that, we come over here to the properties. We select the output properties. We come down here into file format. Now we choose MPEG video. The color management will be the default settings, but encoding, we will change that to MPEG-4, and output quality, well, we can set that to high quality, good, and that's all. The rest will be the default settings. So now when we come up here to render and render animation, it will create an MPEG video file. like so. So now we have the MPEG video file in the output folder. It looks like this. Like so. Then I go back to layout. So now we have made the engine, we have animated the engine, animated the cameras, and we have also made a video sequence of the animations. So I hope that you have enjoyed this class and that you also have learned something from it. So I will wish you good luck in your progress to learn Blender.